holding the microphone, you know what that means. It is time for buy or sell. It's time for your guys' hot takes. Of course, I tweeted out asking you, give me your hottest takes about Major League Baseball to be featured on the next episode of Buy or Sell. And here we are today doing the next episode of Buy or Sell. So if you're not yet following me on my social media, make sure you do at GiraffeNeckMark. That way you have a chance to get involved in these kind of videos. And without further ado, let's get going into this one. Let's get started off with at Heim Serenity. If the playoffs are expanded with the new CBA, I believe that the Mariners will make it. If not next year, definitely the year after. I actually think the Mariners have a really good shot to make the playoffs next year, and I really do expect once the lockout's over for them to be aggressive and go after a guy like Story or Chris Bryant. They just fit too well with that team. Plus the fact that Jared Kelenich's going to pop off. They have so much young talent. Julio Rodriguez is going to come up at some point in 2022, and he's going to take over. He's going to be a beast. Noel V. Marte's on his way up too. I mean, this team's absolutely loaded. They have crazy pitching prospects as well, along with Logan Gilbert, who looked really good. They brought in Robbie Ray. Chris Flexen was good. I mean, they have a lot of really talented players over in Seattle. I'm completely buying that if there is a new CBA and there's expanded playoffs, the Mariners are definitely in, but I think that they have a really good shot to get in the playoffs, even without the expanded playoffs. And again, like you said, if not this year, next year without a doubt. The Mariners are going to be one of the dominant teams in baseball much sooner than later. So I hope you're pumped, Mariners fans. I'll be rooting for you guys. D. Grando at Grando34. Everyone should bow down before coming to play the Mets, the team that runs this city, the New York Mets. Oh, of course we buy that. I mean, granted, like I shouldn't be. There's really no reason for me to, but I do love the idea that the Mets run this city. I mean, we just made some huge moves this offseason. We got Max Scherzer, Starling Marte, Mark Canha, Eduardo Escobar, and to be honest, the Yankees really haven't done anything in the last 10 years to really show that they do run this city. This, of course, is more just fun. There's not really anything to this, but of course I'm buying this one. I've been tweeting it out all offseason long. New York is the Mets city, and I'm buying it in 2022. Fastball Sports. Though it sucks, the changes the lockout will bring will be the best thing for baseball ever. See, this one I sell, and here's why. Is that the CBA is never really there to be beneficial to the players. It's always going to benefit the owners more than it does the players, and the players are going to end up making the most sacrifices in this thing, which is really unfortunate because I don't think that they should. I think that they should fight and they should get what they deserve because that's what we watch. We watch the players. Who cares about the owners, right? At the end of the day, I'm all for the players. Will there be some positives taken out of this? I think so, but I don't know if they're going to be able to outweigh the negatives that are going to come from this lockout. I mean, it's a bad look on baseball. It's a bad look for the commissioner. It's a bad look for the owners. Some people think it's a bad look for the players. Like, this is just all around negative that there is no baseball and that there hasn't been baseball for the last 6 to 8 weeks. I don't know if I'm really going to be able to say it's the best thing ever. Granted, this is a hot take, so I understand what you're saying, but I'm unfortunately going to have to sell this one. I wish I could have that positivity with it. I just want baseball back. The best thing that can happen right now is baseball comes back as soon as possible. Good things can come from the lockout, but it's going to probably be outweighed by the negative in the short term. Logan at Gamer71904. The whole MLB season will be canceled. Yeah, this is something that's a super hot topic right now. If you guys follow Baseball Doesn't Exist, he did an entire video on it. I sell this one big time. I think that there's no possible scenario where the baseball season is canceled, and here's why. Baseball makes billions upon billions of dollars. These owners make millions upon millions of dollars every single season. For some of these owners, the teams that they own is their money. That's where everything is right now. They're not going to be able to afford to take a season off. If Major League Baseball loses an entire season, hot take here, devastating to the sport. It will never recover. You cannot take a year off while other sports leagues are playing and think that it's going to be okay. There's too much money at stake from both sides. The popularity of the game was really starting to take off, and these teams don't want to lose games. It's all right now really just a pissing contest to see who's got the bigger you-know-what. And while there's a lot of it feels like testosterone and going back and forth and, you know, just like I said, it's a pissing contest, I do think they'll be able to figure it out. If the season gets canceled, you are losing, honestly, I would say a third of the fan base will be done with baseball. I don't know how easily they will come back to watching it, and that is devastating for the game. That is detrimental to the game. Rob Manfred talked about how the lockout needed to happen because the way that the players wanted the game to go on would be detrimental to the lifespan of baseball. Missing games hurts baseball. Canceled season, devastating. Baseball will cease to exist as we know it if the season is canceled. Not to mention Rob Manfred's in the hot seat right now. If they miss a good portion of games, Rob Manfred's probably out as the commissioner. And I feel like a lot of you are probably going to be pretty excited about that, but you have to think of the negatives too in that we're going to be missing baseball, and that sucks. If the season's canceled, Rob Manfred doesn't have a job. He was handpicked by Bud Selig to be the commissioner of Major League Baseball for these exact purposes. He's good at litigation. He's a good lawyer. He's a good attorney. He's good at negotiations. That being said, he's good for the side that he's on. He's not good for the game of baseball, I don't believe. But if they lose money and they lose games, the owners will have no choice but to get rid of Rob Manfred because that's who he essentially works for, is the owners. There's no way the season's canceled. I put a 0% chance on it. It would be unbelievably stupid, unbelievably dumb. And again, It would ruin the game of baseball if that happened. We can't be that stubborn. We can't be if you're the owners. No way. I sell this. Peter Wagner at WagnerPete13 says Oakland A's will relocate to Sacramento, not Las Vegas. Sell this one big time. I think Las Vegas is probably the #1 destination right now for every sports league that doesn't have a team there right now. The NFL went there, and I know there was a lot of controversy with the Raiders this past year, but bad things happen everywhere. The Patriots had a murderer on their team. I mean, bad people do bad things. So I don't think that Vegas is scaring anyone off because the fan bases that have been there have been really strong, been really supportive. You had the Golden Knights and you've had the Las Vegas Raiders. Both teams have actually had success. They made the playoffs this year. The Golden Knights made the Stanley Cup in their first season, which is crazy. It's a huge sports market. It's not a huge market in general, but it's a huge sports market. Sports gambling is rampant right now. I mean, you guys see a DraftKings sponsor on like all my videos, it feels like, and I'm involved in sports gambling as well. It's just an untapped market that Major League Baseball hasn't gotten into yet, and it is a huge one that they should. I feel like Las Vegas is probably the #1 city right now for Major League Baseball that they're looking at to either relocate or expand to. And if I'm the Oakland A's, who have a minor league team there, I think already, and Oakland is struggling to give you a team, hate to kind of copy the Raiders here, but yeah, move to Las Vegas. I'm sorry, Oakland A's fans. If they don't get a new stadium, it's probably going to end up happening. So yeah, I sell that they move to Sacramento. Sacramento also, just like, that's a really small market in of itself. Rye Guy at that Jays dude, Alec Manoa is a Cy Young finalist. I like buying this one a lot. I've been looking into Alec Manoa more and more, and I know I left him outside of my top 30 pitchers to start the season going into 2022, and part of that was just because a lot of guys have a little bit more that they've shown thus far. But if I want to get bold, if I want to do hot takes, Alec Manoa is a Cy Young finalist. I can buy that completely. The dude's stuff is nasty. He's got a great fastball, mid to upper 90s, really good breaking pitches. Like, he knows how to pitch. He goes up in the zone. He absolutely dots dudes up, and I think he's only going to get better. The Blue Jays have figured out something pitching development wise. I know we haven't really seen it with Nate Pearson yet, but look at what they did to Robbie Ray last year. That's something you're going to see the Toronto Blue Jays do with a lot of pitchers going forward, and I do think that Alec Manoa can be a Cy Young finalist as soon as next year. Again, this is hot takes, so I'm not going to get absolutely crazy. Is it the most likely outcome? By no means, no. But the American League kind of lacks like that true like top 5 pitchers right now. If you look at the top 10 pitchers in the game, they're mostly from the National League. So sure, Alec Manoa I think could be that guy next year. I'm buying this take. Sad Reggie equals sad world. Happy Reggie equals happy world. Okay, what a name on Twitter. Logan Webb with a sub 1.8 ERA. I'm going to sell that one. Logan Webb's really good, but a 1.8 ERA is just so incredibly hard. I mean, when was the last time we really did see a starting pitcher have a sub 1.8 ERA? We're talking DeGrom last year, who did it in like 90 innings and was having historically one of the best seasons we've ever seen from a pitcher. Logan Webb's good. I don't think he's that good. You need a lot of things outside of your actual performance to go right. The players need to be in the right spots. Dudes need to be hitting the ball soft. I mean, it's really, really hard to have a 1.8 ERA in modern day baseball with how many guys get on base and how many home runs are hit. I don't see it as likely. I don't think it's really even possible. I think he could have a 1.8 ERA maybe halfway through the season. If he told me 2.5, I'd buy that one. 1.8, I'm going to sell, unfortunately. Brandon Warren at Brandon_Warren. The Twins are closer to good than bad. Yeah, this one's really tough. I think I buy this one because I do think that just a couple pieces here and there, and the Twins can go ahead and be one of those better teams in the American League Central again. They were so bad last year. Not that it didn't make sense, but it didn't make sense. They still have good players. If Buxton plays a full season, I think that definitely changes the outlook of this team because he is, when healthy, a top 15, top 20 player, and maybe even top 10 because, again, if he's healthy and playing like we saw last year, he's a top 5 player. That short span was unbelievable. You still got Jorge Polanco as well, who's a really good hitter. Max Kepler's very solid. Miguel Sano, good power. Luis Ariz, I mean, they have some good prospects coming up too. The pitching's kind of what scares me, is that the starting pitching in relief is just not that strong. But again, a few pieces here and there, I can buy that the Twins are closer to good than bad. I really don't think they're one of the bad teams in baseball like they performed last year, but they do need to make some serious changes because the way that it was last year is not going to work this year again. They will continue to struggle if they just think they're going to be able to repeat what they did last year and things will change. I don't buy that by any means, but closer to good than bad, I will buy that. All right, Jugsy, here we go. I know this is the hill you die on, and this is a fun one. Comments, I think you'll have fun with this. So from @Jugsy Siegel, they're without a doubt called a fair pull and a fair line for the simple fact that if either are hit, it is considered a fair ball. #Team Fair Pull. Yeah, I completely get what you're saying, but I gotta sell this. I'm not changing the semantics of what we've done for baseball for the last 120 years. But I will say, it is super weird and honestly super stupid that when the ball hits the foul pole, it's a fair ball. That when a ball hits the foul line, it's a fair ball. The only reason I can think about why they call it a foul pole or a foul line is that anything to the right of it or anything outside of it shows you that the ball is foul. But in all reality, the lines in the foul pole, they do determine inside what is fair. And if you hit them, they are fair. So I get what you're saying, but no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this today, Jugsy. Don't mess with my brain. Don't mess with the semantics of baseball. We got enough to worry about with this sport. I'm selling this one, but let me know in the comment section down below. Are you team fair pull or team foul pull? Connor Knoll at Knoll_Connor Connor, Garrett Mitchell comes up in the 2022 season and takes over for Lorenzo Cain in center field. Ooh, this is hot. This is spicy. I kind of like this one. Garrett Mitchell looked really good in A-ball, struggled a bit in AA. So that's kind of the thing that concerns me a little bit, is that if he tore up AA, I think there's a chance he could. But because he's probably going to have to play about 60, 70 games in AA before he gets the call up to AAA, and then probably have to play a good amount in AAA before he really gets called up to the majors, I'm going to have to sell it. But that being said, Lorenzo Cain, a little injury prone the last few years, getting a little bit older, really not as good as he once was. I can see a world where they're going to need to find another center fielder. I'm thinking they're probably going to give a shot to Tyrone Taylor at some point this year, although he's played a little center field, probably more of a corner guy, but really at the end of the day, the Brewers have the opportunity to use some guys that they could give another shot to rather than being super aggressive with Garrett Mitchell. But if he tears it up next year, yeah, for sure, the Brewers will just play the best players they have, and Garrett Mitchell could be one of them. He's really, really talented, was a great draft pick. Nick Clements at Nick C. Actor, Robinson Cano is in the conversation for comeback player of the year. Yeah, I think I'll buy this one, but I don't actually know if he can win it. Can you win comeback player of the year when you've been suspended for a season after cheating? I don't know if Major League Baseball will give it to him, but I think there's a world where Robinson Cano can be useful and can be good. That being said, we also haven't seen him play baseball in a full season. Another year older, another year more rusty, and he's not juicing. Like when we saw him play well in 2020, it's probably because he was juicing and he felt young and spry and healthy, and he was able to go out there and give 100% because he wasn't battling these injuries, because he was using steroids. So yeah, I mean, I think he could probably still hit, especially if the power's still there. He's looked decent in the Dominican Winter League, so that's like definitely a positive. And I think if the Mets use him well, if there is a DH, which it looks like there will be, and they play him at that a little bit more than second base to limit like the wear and tear on him, I think he could probably hit at a pretty good rate. I also don't know off the top of my head who else could be a comeback player. So yeah, I'll buy Robinson Cano is in the conversation for comeback player. The favorite, no, but I think we will be talking about it. Do a few more here before we wrap it up. Big Boy Baseball at the Crust 27. The Marlins have a magical season and finish with the second wild card slot. You want to hear something crazy, guys? I've been thinking about this more and more as the time's gone on. I think the Marlins are actually going to be decent next year, and I think that if they make a few moves and a few things go right, we could see something that the Marlins do quite often, which is just kind of come out of nowhere. Their pitching is really good. I mean, really good. You look at their rotation. Trevor Rogers, who's just an absolute stud, one of the 30 best pitchers in baseball. Pablo Lopez, who when healthy, is one of the 30 best pitchers in baseball. Sandy Alcantara. Sandy Alcantara is sick. He's arguably a top 10 pitcher in the game, and he's only getting better. So there's three stud pitchers. I mean, you talk about the best top three in Major League Baseball, the Marlins are in the conversation. I firmly agree with that. They've still got Edward Cabrera, who can be very good at times. They've still got Sixto Sanchez, who he's a big question mark, but extremely talented. We've seen him be really good. Eliezer Hernandez, low key, very solid as like a 5 starter. Jesus Luzardo still has good stuff, hasn't put it together, but the Marlins have figured something out pitching wise. And then in the minors, they're just loaded with guys who could come up and be good. Their bullpen is definitely still a question, and if they want to get really good, I think they are going to have to address that. But some of the moves that they made this year, they've been really good. I mean, picking up Jacob Stallings is a big improvement. Big improvement on what they had. I know he doesn't hit at a very high rate, but defensively, he's elite. That's going to be huge for them. First base, Aguilar is still good. Garrett Cooper, especially if there's a DH, Garrett Cooper is going to be able to get more at-bats. The dude's a legitimate hitter. He's very good at the plate. Lewin Diaz, of course, can step up. I really like Jazz Chisholm. I think he's going to have a better year. I think we saw a lot of the talent he has. He's a beast. Brian Anderson, he can't play as bad as he did last year. Brian Anderson is too good. That was a down year. That was weird. I expected him to bounce back. Miggy Rojas, Joey Wendell, those guys are solid in what they do. Good fielders, all around solid players. I like Brian De La Cruz a lot. Obviously, Garcia, Jesus Sanchez. Like, there is a world where the Marlins are good. And it's crazy because, like, I wouldn't bet it, but depending on the odds, I'm interested. And the Marlins have done this in the past before. They've had good pitching with a bunch of young, maybe little unproven guys around them surrounded by veterans. That's what they're starting to build here. Kim Ung, this Marlins team, I think has a legitimate chance to make the playoffs, especially with the expansion, and maybe even sneak in as a second wildcard team. And the National League's tough because there's a lot of really good teams, but the Marlins have a pretty good core. Strengthen up that bullpen, it's possible. I'm going to buy this take, which I can't believe I'm saying, but I've been thinking about this for a couple weeks now. I think the Marlins can make the playoffs. I think they're my sneaky pick to make the playoffs. I think they're the third best team in the National League East right now. Eli at ERG111. Bobby Witt overperforms and becomes a top 10 shortstop. Not sure what you mean by overperform, but Bobby Witt, I think 100% can be a top 10 shortstop by the end of the year. I had Wander Franco at number 6. Bobby Witt is the same kind of caliber of talent in that he's a special player at shortstop. He hits for power, hits for average, great glove, great arm, runs well. Like, he's a 5-tool guy at shortstop, very similar to what you see from Wander Franco. Yeah, he could be a top 10 shortstop for sure, especially if he gets to start on opening day, which the Kansas City Royals, they better start him opening day at shortstop. There's no reason not to. He is their best shortstop in their organization. Play the kid, get him 140, 150 games at the majors next year. Just let him play, and I think he's going to be able to figure it out. He has been fantastic at every level. I'm excited for Bobby Witt Jr. I'm buying this hot take. He can be a top 10 shortstop by the end of the year. And then for the final one, Matt Ziski at M Ziski. The Dodgers will finish third in the NL West and miss the playoffs. Yeah, you know where I'm going with this one. I'm selling this. The Padres are still the third best team in that division. They really haven't made any improvements to that roster or team to get above the Giants or Dodgers. So yeah, I asked for hot takes. I understand. You gave me a hot one. This is scalding hot, but I cannot buy this one. I have to sell it. There's just no way right now that the Dodgers are going to finish in third outside of some catastrophic injuries that happen. I know they've lost Seager. I know they're going to maybe lose Kershaw, but their team is still just way too talented. Their minors are just way too deep. They have too many good players, and I kind of expect Cody Bellinger to bounce back a little bit. And there's no way they finish in third as of right now, but things can change. I understand it. Still going to sell this take. So there it is. Buy or sell. We're still doing it in January. I'm probably going to try and do these like every 2 weeks because there is just simply nothing else to talk about in baseball. I'd love to know what you guys think. Maybe for the next buy or sell, I'm going to take it from the YouTube comment section. So drop your takes down in the comment section below. Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Seriously, if you made it this far, I'm trying not to like ask for likes and subscriptions and comments at the beginning. So if you made it this far, do drop a like and subscribe. You probably like what you saw here. There's a good chance you aren't subbed. So click it, join the team. Follow me on all my social media at GiraffeNeckMark, links in description. That's where I'm wrapping up today's video, guys. You know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload. Click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another video.